stage. Woo! I feel so honored to be kicking off the rowdiest block of programming in all of Cannes.
Yeah!
Yeah! With two of my favorite people and partners, Tabata and Jason. It is so nice to be reunited.
Yes, absolutely.
The last time we were together, we had just 2 hours to pull off what Fast Company dubbed a marketing miracle. Proving the Frank's RedHot tagline, "I put that shit on everything," was true. Taking Frank's and pouring it on every food or drink with an ad during the Super Bowl. And of course, Jason eating them.
Yep, yeah. There was a spit bucket, but I did not utilize it.
He did not use it one time. I can attest to that. That's right. And this campaign was so successful by all accounts. Everything from share of voice to sales, even outperforming some of the brands that ran ads during the Super Bowl when Frank's didn't have one in the game. So we're here to blitz through all things brand partnerships and what we're dubbing the Kelce effect. How do you like that? Okay.
Cool.
Well, let's start off with you, Tabata. So what was it about the New Heights podcast that helped you realize that Jason here was going to be a right fit for Frank's?
Well, having Jason on the podcast gave us a window into his personality. It really allowed us to see week after week who he really was and also really get to know him. So when the idea came and we had 2 days to decide if we were going to do it or not, it was an easy decision because we knew immediately that he would be a fit for the brand because that authenticity, that way of being and that irreverence matched our brand values so well, and Frank's RedHot was going to be a great fit with Jason.
That's amazing. Well, so there's a lot of brand marketers out here.
Yes. I'm aware.
You're aware? Okay, good.
Wait, and out there too.
Out there too, and down the street. So what can brands do or say to help you sort of size up their partner potential?
Oh, man. For me, a lot of it comes down to what the product is and do I truly believe in it and identify with it. Frank's is a hot sauce that I've used my entire life, so that was very easy to be like, hell yeah, I'll put that shit on everything. I've been doing that already.
I think Kylie said the exact same thing.
Yeah, so, that's one thing that, the podcast world has allowed is this level of authenticity that you can reach fans with. Before, as a player, in order to connect with a fan base, in order to connect with the public, you had to go through media channels. And a lot of times it happens in form of a question. And it gets framed in a way the person wants to write that article. And this is just, this is about as direct of a viewpoint on football, brands, life, your personality as you can get is by talking. And obviously, doing the show with my brother, we both feel very easy being ourselves. So a lot of it comes down to the brand. It's the right fit. It's something that I believe in. And then that's when we found that it's had the most success.
That's amazing. So, Tabata, because of how fast things came together for Frank's, people might be surprised about the level of due diligence that was done in advance to pressure test Jason. I don't know if you know about this. With fans who knew you as a prolific athlete against people who knew nothing about you at the time. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Interesting.
Well, I'm going to start by saying it's kind of hard to imagine there was a time where not everybody knew who Jason Kelce was, right? Yeah? I see a lot of people nodding here on the stage. Yeah. Well, as a marketer, we need to follow the data, but we also need to be ready to move fast so we can capitalize and be part of those cultural moments. And what we did here is we did both. We started designing and creating our campaign, and in parallel, we ran a quick study. And what that study showed was that Jason scored off the charts with our target audience, regardless if they knew him or not. It was just all about this universally magnetic personality. I think we can all agree on that, right? Yeah?
Yes. Universally magnetic, Jason.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
that
sounds pretty good. Well, I can actually attest to that. I remember when you showed up on set, before the cameras started rolling, you took a bottle of Frank's, you poured it into your coffee.
I did.
And you chugged it.
Yeah, this was not on camera.
Not on camera.
I was just curious.
Just to get the party started.
Yeah, we got to figure out.
Get things rolling.
I've never had it in coffee before, so.
How was it?
It's like everything. It's
Well, hot.
fucking great.
See? This is why he's perfect for the brand. So this was the week of Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You had a lot going on that week.
Yes.
How did you get in the zone, or were there any key takeaways from the shoot?
Well, first of all, there was a great team put in place. Raul, the director, we were talking about it earlier, really did a great job of making it feel authentic and real in the moment. And then, you're at the Super Bowl. You're getting ready for the biggest game. My brother's playing in the game, so the energy was going to be there. So it didn't take too much to get ready for it. Just make sure don't eat too much before you go into a shoot where you're going to eat a bunch of stuff, and then have to have the Tums ready. I'm just kidding. I didn't take any Tums. It was perfectly fine.
We had it there.
Yeah, it was ready.
That's amazing. Okay, so Tabata, tell us what you appreciated most about Jason's approach to the partnership.
Well, Jason's a special kind of talent because you're so uniquely you, so authentic, and that translates really well on the camera. So one of the things we did intentionally was hire and cast a director that had an improv comedy background because we needed someone that was not going to over-direct Jason, someone that's going to let him be himself and bring that out even more. So that was really fun to do. We did have, of course, scripts, we did have lines, but a lot of the content we ended up using was very Jason authentic content. And that's what works with the audiences as well. And it was just so much fun to see that come to life and happen. And I want to just share a little bit of an anecdote. My favorite story was when Jason was sitting there and he was eating Nerds gummy clusters, like smothered in Frank's RedHot. And Jason, you just
don't knock it till you try it.
And Jason, you just went all in. You grabbed that bowl, you poured all the contents in your mouth. There were nerds stuck to your beard,
Yep.
nerds in your sandals.
Yep.
And then you just looked at the camera with your mouth full and you're like, this is messy, and the nerds are coming out. The entire set is laughing, and that moment was just priceless.
Yeah, I had to change my shirt afterwards, but it was fantastic. It was also like two worlds colliding because we had just talked about, my brother had talked about how much he loved Nerd Cluster, so I tried him on the podcast. So that was like two worlds colliding again as like a very authentic thing happening for the shoot.
Well, that's the perfect segue. I'm curious for you, Jason, what is the right balance between creative direction and creative freedom when it comes to representing a brand?
I don't know. That probably depends on the person, the brand, like what the specific advertisement is. I love being able to go off the cuff and be creative. That's how I'm wired. So I definitely feel like I'm more invested from a talent perspective when I can do that. And that's not just on the shoot. That's in coming up with ideas in general. I enjoy that aspect of it. But I think that's probably different for everybody.
Different.
But I feel like whenever you're a part of the idea, or whenever you say a line that the director's like, oh yeah, I like that, it just reinforces your investment in whatever you're doing. And it's like that in football too. Like, if the coach is taking feedback from players, the players feel like the game plan is just as much of theirs as it is the coaches. And I find that helps people just be invested into things that much more.
That's great. All right, Tabata, over 35 brands joined in the action on social media with the Frank's activation. They commented on it, they shared it, they even produced their own content and shared it out with their fans and followers to really amplify our activation. What do you think it was about Jason's involvement that made so many brands want to get in on the action?
Well, we really wanted to amplify our message the day of the game. So we really wanted to reach out proactively to all the brands that had food that were advertising in the Super Bowl. So we literally got our phones out and started contacting every marketer and every CMO we knew. And they responded, and they all loved the idea. And of course, having Jason on the table was very advantageous for them, because we were also giving them an opportunity to work with us and participate in a cultural moment that we were all living at that time. We had Oreos, we had Doritos, we had Mountain Dew, Reese's, Oikos yogurt.
Yogurt, yeah.
Yeah. We also had, that was good, right?
I'm telling you, spicy
That was a
yogurt
good
has a
combo.
future. Spicy yogurt.
I think there might be a partnership in the future for
I
Frank's
know,
there.
can somebody from the team take notes on that, please? We also had all other non-food brands like Bounty, Elf, State Farm that participated and got in on the fun. But I'm going to say I really must applaud all of the CMOs and their teams that were willing to give the idea a chance, who jumped in to make it happen with us, because this was a very busy time for them. And remember, we were planning this just a couple of days before the Super Bowl. So having those connections within the marketing community is something I would really recommend for everybody to do.
Yeah, that was huge. Okay, well, I want to wrap things up by posing the same question to each of you. How has this experience informed how you view the power of partnerships beyond what we all accomplished together? So, Jason, I'll start with you.
Oh, okay, I go first. I don't know. I think that I keep coming back to the word authentic. I think that when there's something that both parties are truly behind and they believe in, it really comes together so much easier. And I think the viewer feels that, right? The person taking in the advertisement doesn't feel like they're being sold something from a car salesman. It feels like they're being sold something from somebody who genuinely believes in the product. And, for us, Frank's is just a glowing example of that ringing true. And it feels like the more and more partnerships we do where there is that authentic, partnership there, that the advertisements take care of themselves if that feels that way to the consumer.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Tabata?
Well, I'll answer that from a broader partnership ecosystem. What I'll tell you is it does take a village, but it takes a partnership that has a lot of trust. So I'll tell you, starting with our internal brilliant McCormick team, who came up with the initial idea, and we always move very fast. We found ways to make this happen with tons of agility in a matter of days. I would say the other part of that was our talent agency, United Entertainment Group, who worked very closely with Jason's marketing manager, Emily, who's amazing. She's actually back there. And between the two of them, they figured out how to get the contract signed really, really fast. And then we have Jess and the Colle McVoy team, who worked on the creative idea, who made everything happen. They executed the entire thing flawlessly in record timing. You had our media agency, Dentsu X, who had to change media plans overnight. If you're a marketer and you have your media plan for months, you know how hard that is. And then, of course, all of the CMOs and the marketers across the network that came in on the fun with their brands. And then you had Jason, the talent, right? Somebody that is so professional, so easy to work with, so fun, so charismatic. It was just an amazing partnership across the board that had a lot of trust. And it was a group of people that wanted to make this happen despite of the obstacles and the time.
You look like you were going to say something.
No, I have not been called professional by many
I thought
people,
that's what you were going to react to.
Outside of football, that's about all I get.
That's good. That's good. All right. Well, speaking of trust, thank you for trusting all of us with these behind-the-scenes details of this partnership. It has been such a pleasure. So I think we're going to move things along here.
Before we move things along, thank you so much, Jess, and thank you so much, Jason. And Sports Pitch, we have more. We have a fun segment coming up, so it is my great pleasure to introduce today State Farm CMO Kristen Cook, who will be taking things over from here. Thank you.